Hello, everybody. Welcome. That was not planned.
It better not be. You explicitly told me that you were not going to cough into the microphone. You said, and I quote, I'm not going to cough immediately to start the show.
I spoke at a higher decibel level than my throat can handle right now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spiritual Successor. I am one of your hosts, Blake Rhea.
I'm your other host, AJ Hart.
Oh, hello. And long time no see, everybody. So we got...
we have to make a couple apologies. So let's start from the beginning. Blake, why did we miss our show 2 weeks ago?
So we missed our show 2 weeks ago because I needed to go out of town on work. I was in Vegas for 10 days because I was working a convention. And coincidentally, complete by coincidence, both AJ and I caught COVID on our own at the same time on our own fucking journeys. And so here, AJ and I both have COVID right now. And I just want to make an apology for two things. One, I'm committing the cardinal sin of keeping my fan on in my room because if I had to turn it off for an hour, I would die. I would just legitimately... My nose, my ears, my eyes, everything would be... held it in that time. Everything would be clogged. And
I'm so proud of you. Woo!
And we're also probably going to be a little bit sniffly and coughy. So we're doing a bit of a short episode. But yeah, we're here. I don't know.
Yeah, Blake... We missed one episode because Blake went to Vegas, baby, and we missed the second episode because we're sick babies. But we're here, and we finally made it, and we're doing a show. I hope you've all been doing well in our laps. And I think we're ready to just jump right into the episode. No sense making them wait even longer.
No. It's been a little while. What games are you playing right now, man? Because I could talk about the game I've been playing. You could tell me a little bit about what you're playing.
I played so much fucking Elden Ring while I was sick. It was unreal. I've made it all the way through the capital city. I have done Rodon's cool fighting festival. I have killed a lot of dragons. I have finally picked a sword that makes me feel good and cool after all of this time. Because unlike everybody else, I didn't look up tutorials and guides that were like, use this sword and it's the most busted thing ever. I specifically avoided that because I didn't want the game to be like, baby piss easy. But what this meant is that I spent like 60 hours of this video game not knowing what weapon to use and what weapons to upgrade, and I continued to upgrade weapons that I didn't give a shit about. But I finally found one that feels cool and awesome.
Which weapon is it? Is it like
it's the Sword of Night and Flame. It's a sword that shoots a laser.
That sword's so fucking cool, dude. Oh, great choice.
Apparently, it was like the most busted sword in the first couple of weeks of the game. I didn't know that. Again, I avoided all of that information.
Well, that's because like our buddy Andrew did that whole weird, crazy ass thing where he did the stacking on it, where it's like if the next hit he does with it, I think is like times 10 damage, and like all right, don't do that one. No, I think I draw the line at nose blowing on
it's fine. I'm editing it. Actually, I'm editing it, so I'm allowed to make whatever noises in the microphone I want to make because I'm removing them.
Okay.
You're actually the one that has to be on thin ice. See, I didn't edit that out. I didn't say you could do that. You need to ask permission before you cough or sniff.
I'm not fucking asking you for permission. COVID don't wait for nobody.
As far as the audience knows, I could be spry and healthy and fine, and you're the only one that's dying.
And you're just like, you're splicing in coughs and sneezes on my end. All right. No, one of the games I've that's been kind of getting me through like COVID and shit is I wake up and I've just been playing a fuck ton of Frostpunk, and I can't remember the last time I played like a colony simulator where it was like this engrossing narratively. And because like most of the colony things is like finding your own narrative, building your own thing, but like no, there's actual like stories in this colony thing, and it's just been very, very fascinating. And I just bought the DLC like I think it was like last night, and I've been playing the first of the 2 DLCs. Like I've beaten the core game. Well, I made it to the last day, and I didn't, because like the way the game works is there's multiple ways to win each scenario. And like one of them is like, hey, you're getting you're getting a fuck ton of refugees coming into your camp, but they're like you find out the refugees are like the lords who basically had like slave ownership of you back in London. So you have this like you have to do this weird, this like very tense balance of like trying to make these two different social classes live and coexist in the same area and remove all the tensions and all of this stuff. And you can either solve their tensions and have them live peacefully, happily ever after, or you don't solve their tensions, but you have enough like hope as a city to where basically your city just murders all of the lords, and then you just live happily ever after. So
interesting.
I'm brutally like devolving how this like the sharp, poignant awesomeness of this game. Give me 1 second. I'm alive. I promise.
I'll edit that one out because you gave me the warning. Thank you very much. Blake, do you want to talk about bad video games?
I do want to talk about bad video games. Actually, I don't know if we mentioned it. God, this would be a real bad episode to be your first one on. Hello, and welcome to Spiritual Successor, a comedy video game design podcast where we take your horrible, nasty, beautiful, sexy, awful video games and turn them into the next AAA video game titles. I am one of your hosts, Blake. I mean, they already know that. Fuck that part.
They already know that part.
All right. Do you want to give the first game submission, or do you want me to give the first game submission?
You give me the first one.
All right. This one comes to us on Twitter from Gaz at JustGazzer. A game about building made-to-order monsters for movies and TV. There was a specific time in the 60s where just like sci-fi movies were being fucking cranked out, and a lot of them fucking terrible. There was some that were amazing, like Them, which was like a movie about giant ants taking over Los Angeles. Great movie.
And then there was stuff like Tires and Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Those are 1980s, weren't they? Also,
I don't know. They were both before my time, brother.
Also, do you mean Rubber? Like, are you talking about, like, the very modern monster movie about a tire with, like, psychic powers?
Is Rubber a newer movie? I assumed it was some fucking ancient film. No, Rubber's from 2010, huh?
Yeah. It's a very new... It's only 10 years old. I will say, though, Rubber, great movie. Like, it gets a lot of shit, but I do think it's a fucking awesome movie. No, but specifically I'm thinking about, I can't remember the name of the fucking movie because the movie's terrible, but there was this sci-fi movie where the monster was just a guy in a gorilla suit that had a TV cabinet put on its head, and it was kind of like space agey looking. I think it begins with an R. It's not Rodan. A gorilla sci-fi movie.
I looked up TV Gorilla Monster and I found a video on YouTube just titled Bela Lugosi Brooklyn Gorilla Monster Madhouse TV.
I forgot about this. So the monster I'm thinking of, it's just called Robot Monster, and look that up because that's the energy I want for our dumb bullshit. God, it's so funny.
This is very good to look at. This rules.
It's so bad. It's so good. It's just so fucking cheesy. But yeah, like a Bride of the Gorilla. Man, old movie posters were fucking weird. But this is the energy I want to have. So are we the person working in kind of the costume design department of like a 1960s like prop house, and we kind of just have to scrounge things? Is this kind of like a sandbox? Could you hit me with the prompt one more time? Yeah, sure thing. This one is from Gaz at JustGazzer. Oh god, phone, please. A game about building made-to-order monsters for movies and TV. So when they said made-to-order monsters, this is what I think about. Like this is just like, hey, we have a fucking gorilla suit from like the last jungle movie we shot, and we got a couple space agey stuff, and we got a skeleton mask. Bam, we now have a monster. For those at home, look up Robot Monster. You can laugh at this dumb shit with us. Okay, so
when you say made to order, you're imagining just like made with whatever shit you've got laying around.
Yeah.
I propose the idea of made to order is two things. One, whatever shit you've got laying around, and also more importantly, made to fulfill the requirements presented in a script. Did you ever see the movie Malignant?
Malignant? No, I didn't. I heard a lot of great things about it. I watched the first 10 minutes, and the opening voiceover made me, like, gag. And I was like, I'm not watching the rest of this.
Okay, so you're fine if I spoil Malignant, right?
I mean, I'm fine with it. I don't know if our audience is fine with it, though.
The TLDR is the thing in Malignant. The monster has a lot of fucking weird powers that are never really explained and do not make any sense with what the monster actually is. For example, hate that, actually. The monster is super fast, super strong, super good at fighting, and also can communicate to people through technology. Blake, what do you think the monster in Malignant is?
I'd say it's like some sort of electronic thing, right? Like just moving electricity or static or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and censor this so the audience doesn't hear. It's the. And so
they did that in Harry Potter. That's so stupid.
Yeah. And so when they do fight scenes and stuff, the fight choreography is really cool because the stuntmen are having to do a bunch of stuff that looks like it's all backwards because like the woman's fighting people, but like you're fighting somebody behind you and throwing a full fist and doing a front kick, but if the front kick is backwards.
Movie? You keep saying fights. Like is there action elements in this?
James Wan's Malignant is the action horror film that we thought we were going to get when we heard that James Wan was directing Aquaman. And I mean this in the best way imaginable. I fucking love Malignant.
I don't know if I want to watch this. This sounds kind of like, I don't know.
It's stupid. It's schlocky. It's very fun. The music selection over the opening credits is just the most buck wild thing when you go into it.
Okay, so maybe that was the issue I had with it. Is like maybe that's the reason I turned it off, is because I was expecting a horror film, but I was getting like the intro monologue that happens at the beginning of most action flicks. So maybe if I go into that movie like understanding that it's going to be this fucking wild mess, then maybe it'll be.
Please do.
Maybe I'll have a better time.
Malignant again.
Okay. So let's get back.
Going back, what I'm saying is that like what it does visually in the movie fucking rips, but what it can do versus the powers that it has and what it is does not make a lick of sense. Whereas when you show me the robot monster and I see a robot antenna on top of a gorilla, I know that this thing has dominion over technology and super strength. So are we so
trying
a made-to-order creature feature would be I have a bunch of junk. Somebody's script says that it needs to be able to move a fork through the air. It needs to be able to hide in the shadows. And it needs to be able to survive a bullet wound. Now I understand that it needs to be big, it needs to be stealthy, and it needs to be able to propel metal through the air somehow. What am I looking for?
Okay, so you have to put like a third eye on its forehead, because like I'm picturing, wasn't there like a guy from what's the name of that anime where the dude like could point his finger at things and shoot things, and he had a green.
Are you referring to TN Dragon Ball Z?
No. Okay, hold on. Stick with me. There was this one anime about a guy who dies and he comes back to life as like a ghosty dude, but he's also alive, sort of. And then he can like point his fist at things and do like a shotgun blast, or he can point his finger at things. Are you referring to
fucking Yu Yu Hakusho?
Yeah, there you go. And wasn't there a guy in that had like a third eye and also telekinesis powers or some shit? That's what I'm thinking of. So it's like, when I think of like a third eye on somebody's forehead, I think they have psychic powers or some sort of like they have some sort of sight beyond COVID said that was a bad joke. That
was the wildest cough I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, because it wasn't really a cough. There's no more air in my lungs. It's just like it's just forcing the flesh of my throat to squeeze.
We're halfway through the show. Do you want me to take some weight off of your shoulders then?
I want to finalize this idea because we're going to be only doing a couple of game submissions this week, right? So I don't want to just like be like, hey, here's the joke and then we move on. I want to come up with an actual game. So let's come up with an outline. You are given a script. You are in the prop department of Universal Studios.
You're You are given a procedurally generated 120-page script for a feature film.
Oh. Wait. Fuck. I can't get excited. This is the weirdest thing. No, you know what's been on the fucking rise lately that I think would be so good? What if, you know, like how people love doing those things where it's like, hey, I fed an AI
120 different schlocky
like
horror
romance
films from
novels
the 1960s.
Yes, I fed an AI like all the scripts from all of the different sci-fi movies from 1941 to 1971. And it'll just generate a script for you, like a 10-page short film. So you can have fun reading just how fucking stupid this thing is. And then there's the option of like, you can share like an image of the monster outfit that you made with this script. And maybe it does, like, maybe that could be fun where it's like, what if we did like some sort of game where it's like you get to see a scene with that monster. But it's like,
Okay, let me put you on this.
Okay.
We ditched the short film idea. It is a 120-page to 90-page long short film. People play this game Jackbox style and have to get their friends together to do a whole 90-minute table read of a movie together.
Oh, like scene by scene? Oh my God.
And then like Jackbox style, they get to create the monster for the movie.
Oh, and then that's great because we can lean into that idea you were mentioning with Maleficent or Malignant or whatever the fuck it is.
I also do this every time I try to remember the name. I'm pretty sure that's what it is on the poster. I'm pretty sure the poster just says Malignant.
No, but that's super fun because we can take that same idea of just like each scene we keep inventing powers for like for the monster. So it's maybe what's that one there's like I think it's called like dungeon AI where it's like you write a story with an AI where it's like you give it a starter sentence. So what if it's a game like that is also paired with like a sandbox, like you have to design elements for this suit. So I'm wondering if like this might be a fun game where it's like it's a two-player game where one person is on a laptop while the other one is in VR doing like their sick like
walking around
design.
Building
monster. Yeah, how fucking cool would that be? And then it's like and you just I'm picturing it kind of like that one game where one person is in VR and they're like searching like through crowds of like exactly the same looking clones while one person is on their laptop trying to escape the sight of the person in VR. I think it's called.
But I imagine it a little bit more cooperatively. I'm thinking something
I'm just
more
saying that
keep
kind of
talking
same
and nobody
setup.
explodes. Where the person on the computer is like, okay, it's talking to somebody in their mind. How can you make it do that? And the person in the space is like, okay, I already gave it a third eye, so what else can I give it that would make it be able to talk to people in their brain? I know. Alien hands, and they have a fun little ET finger.
Glowy fingers. There you go. So how do these two things combine? Like, as the person goes through the prompt, they're being given like, you know, new things that need to be added to the costume, and then does it do a thing where it just like does a very basic animation over the monster that was designed and it reads some of the lines that were generated by the script player?
Yeah, the monster's played by Siri and everybody else is played by Alexa.
Oh, no, here's the fucking solution. It comes up with like a bullshit like 30-second trailer that uses like the animation of like the monster that was generated.
Once you finish the whole 90-page script.
Yes, and it comes up with like a fun little trailer that's also generated by an AI.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Right,
okay.
Let's put a pin in this one. I got another video game idea for you.
Made to Order Monster is a good name for this, by the way.
I'm feeling the monster vibes this week. This comes from Nuggets 1020, a game about being giant fantasy-ass monsters playing a tabletop game in which they play as humans doing normal human things.
Oh, that's adorable. Like, what the fuck? Okay, that's cute. Okay,
you have to deal with the dangers of both taxes and being a big monster trying to play offices and bosses.
Okay, but Is it difficult? My first question is it difficult to get your group of monster friends together because they're always so busy with their monster lives?
Yes.
So it's
Okay, here's the setup. Is all of your monster friends have very busy and drastically important monster lives. And
Yeah,
so you've
destroying
gathered
the
up all
city,
of your
destroying
monster
that
friends
city.
for one big one shot. You're going to be playing through an
Okay.
entire campaign together. Each one of your monster people has their own like you get to choose what monster you're playing as. So for when you play as your humans, if that makes any sense. Like
Okay. So
I can choose whether or not I'm going to play as giant
is
octopus or if I'm going to play as Godzilla. But
and does that influence like how your ability to play a human? Like you can
yes.
control multiple humans at once, or is it like this is just feels like, you know, like when people who order like a crap ton of Dwarven Forge like D&D terrain and they basically cover their whole table in like miniatures and like you can actually see them their players moving through a physical environment and stuff. It's like Son of a Dungeon, how they when they shoot like the live action portion of it.
yes.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I'm picturing these monsters are playing it. So it's just like picture like 3 monsters sitting in the bay of San Francisco, and their game board is just San Francisco, and
They've leveled multiple cities so that they can put little guys there.
Yeah, so now is it just like I'm trying to figure out how do we bridge the gap of like the 2 things you pick at the beginning of the game is your species and your class. Your species is what monster you're going to be playing as, and that gives you certain abilities and controls over X amount of humans or whatever.
I know
And then
exactly what I want to use as the backdrop for like the skeleton of this. Have you ever heard of the game Knights of Pen and Paper? It was a mobile app game.
I have heard of it.
Knights of Pen and Paper was a mobile app game where the way it worked was you were playing as a group of friends playing a D&D game. You selected 4 different classes to sit at the table, and then you had a DM at the other side of the table that whenever he talked about things, he would paint the room that you're sitting in. And we could do something like this with a bunch of Godzillas, where instead of it's a bunch of people sitting at a table, we see all of the Godzillas, and we see one Cthulhu that will be the DM. And when Cthulhu, like all of your monsters are sitting around a big cityscape using it as their table, and then the Cthulhu will say you're in an office building, and then we have our monsters dressed up like the classes they are playing as: businessman, athlete, doctor. The city then turns into an office space, and our narrator, Cthulhu, tells the players what they're going to be facing up against when they have to go talk to the boss about the next big project. And it's just a bunch of boring and mundane things, but we get to see all the monsters dressed up like their classes. Doctor, athlete, businessman.
Let me throw something at you. So this is like a roundtable VR game. This feels like Tabletop Simulator, but in VR.
Okay.
And your monsters, whenever you have to physically pick up the person that you are controlling and move them to a new environment. But here's the thing about being a big-ass monster, you're going to just destroy things that you're carrying your person to. So 2 things you need to manage is you need to make sure when you are moving your piece or your like an actual living person that does not want to be your player piece, but they are forced to. You need to constantly make sure they aren't running away from you, and they need to stay in their environment, and you are not destroying things as you lift them to the other location. So there's this balance of like, okay, being a monster does have an effect on the environment. Because guess what? If one player accidentally destroys the office, guess what? Nobody can do the office scene. So
well, you have to rebuild the office scene before you can continue. The DM won't let you go unless all the pieces are in place. Okay, I love this.
This is fun, but I don't really necessarily know what the game is yet. You know, it's like we have some pieces there, but I don't know. Here's the thing: I don't know what the end game is. I don't know what the rails are. Like, what are people trying to achieve? Why are there? I mean, I guess it's like. I guess that this is going to be a philosophical thing. It's just like, well, why do people play D&D? Because it's fun to just be somebody else for a little bit. Every monster wants to just be kind of a mundane office person.
Exactly. Or and now you could be a monster being a businessman. You can be a Cthulhu being a doctor.
You're right. Okay, that's adorable. Can we do one thing, though? Just add a little spice to this. What if there was a hidden role element to this? Where one of the monsters... like... have you ever been in a D&D session where there's one player that clearly has their own agenda and is not interested in actually... Not narratively uninterested, but, like, personally disinterested in partaking with the group?
Yeah, and it's our favorite person to play a role-playing game with, and we love them.
We don't hang out with them anymore. So what I'm thinking is, could you? So what I'm thinking is, could you done blowing your nose, buddy? You done fucking evacuating like the blowing out your fucking face? God. Okay. So is there a way we can do a hidden role element where one monster kind of has their own agenda that they're trying to achieve against all of the other monsters?
Gamora's actually of Dracula, not...
Oh. I mean...
What's a good Dracula cover? If you were a Dracula, what would you pretend to be?
A good Dracula cover? Alucard. I would name myself Alucard.
Alucard isn't a business profession, you ding-dong. If you were a Dracula, what job would you pretend?
A lawyer, because like the phrase blood-sucking lawyer, you'd be a lawyer.
Okay, yeah. So Gamora doesn't want to be... Not Gamora, Gamera. Gamera doesn't want to be a lawyer. Gamera's actually playing as a vampire.
I like Gamora. Isn't that a casino in Fallout?
Gamora
New Vegas?
is the green lady from the Marvel comics. Gamera is the big turtle that protects children.
There's a lot of things named Gamera. I wonder if there's like a reason. Is that like an ancient word? Was like that mean something?
Yeah, Gamera, protector of children. He's been doing it for a millennia.
Gamora. Why is Gamora... Sodom and Gomorrah... Oh, yeah, that's like biblical cities destroyed by God for their wickedness. Holy shit.
Huh?
Yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah were two legendary biblical cities destroyed by God for their wickedness. There's... that's why sodomy is... Wait, what does sodomy mean? I don't know.
It doesn't matter. Can we get back to the show before it ends?
Yeah, not a problem. Okay, so... let's iron out this hidden agenda thing, and then we'll pick our nug.
So the hidden agenda is that he wants to be able to distract the players enough that he can get his little guy near all of the other little guys and turn them into vampires.
Oh, so it's like you the idea is you're trying to... I mean, but is that universal? Is it just like one of your monsters is always trying... No, that's the whole gimmick there. So it's one of the idea is that
I think it's just one player at all times, because what this gives is it gives the idea that like 3 players are playing one game and the 4th player is playing a different game.
Yeah, they're trying to
3 players
become
are playing
the
a
ultimate
tabletop
monster.
game where they are 3 players are playing a tabletop game where they're playing as businessmen trying to go through their like little business boy adventures, and the 4th player is playing a game where he's trying to get his little human guy around the table to go visit each one of the little guys. I guess what? Holy shit, Blake! This is The Sims.
This is the what?
This is The Sims? What
The
we are
Sims?
creating here is a game of The Sims, but with 4 different players all playing The Sims. And you have like a physical manifestation of the other players at the table, but they are giant monsters wearing business hats pertaining to their Sims' personal business jobs.
Okay, that's
the
adorable.
5th player that is playing this is playing as a lawyer pretending to be playing as a Dracula pretending to be a lawyer, trying to get his sim to go turn all of the other sims into lawyers. Not lawyers, vampires. I'm getting it mixed up in my brain. Gamera is playing a lawyer who is secretly a vampire.
Okay.
He wants to get his lawyer into the room with the doctor, the athlete, and the businessman, and turn them into vampires.
So is the idea then that everybody's doing their own individual lives, but they know there's other monsters controlling players out there that are doing their own thing?
Yes,
so it's like
that you can physically see. If you and I are playing this game together, I see your Godzilla in a top hat, and I'm like, why does Blake keep on looking at my house? Like he's looking at my house so much. I'm sure it's nothing. And maybe you're the lawyer vampire.
I'll be honest.
Maybe you're just the doctor.
I don't know if there's like a real game here. I don't. I'm saying that without providing a solution, and I apologize for that. But I don't know. It just.
You're not interested in the idea of just a bunch of monsters playing dolls in a VR space? Because I think that's the thing that's always slowed me down from Sims, is the idea that I haven't been able to play it with people, to like have my own little guy doing something in tandem with someone else's little guy.
I have the fix, actually. I have the fix. I think this game was good from the start on you are monsters controlling little people, trying not to destroy buildings as you move your piece. That is clearly...
That can still be a factor.
That's it. I think we should remove the hidden agenda element. And I think it should just be big monsters moving their pieces around, and they can just basically have their pieces interact. But the stink of it is that the pieces you are controlling are being moved against their will. So you can overhear conversations of like, you know, hey, I don't want to be here. This thing has complete control over my body. It's like, it's one of those games where it's like, if you pay attention closely, it's a horrifying game, but on the surface, it's just big monsters moving pieces, going about their fun lives.
Yeah, your little guy's going to be upset as hell when you pick him up and drag him to the top story so that he'll sit down and send his goddamn emails. But he will send his emails if you drag him up there.
Yes. All right, yeah, I think that's a game. What's our nug? I think it's made to order monster.
I also think it's made to order monsters.
Okay.
And I think that's going to be the name of the game this week.
Are we doing any modifiers, or do we not have energy for that right now?
I don't have the energy. I know. I've thought about how many coughs and wheezes and sniffles I'm already having to edit out of this. It's a short one this week, team. I'm so sorry.
Thank you for understanding. We'll be back full power next week. We'll be back full power next week. Until then, let's go to patch notes.
I'm editing my sniffles out. You don't have to stop every time.
But I want to stop for me. I do it for me. Fuck, it's because it's just, I need the reset. Let's go to patch notes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Patch Notes. We just wanted to say we hope you are safe, staying healthy, and we didn't really discuss what we wanted to pitch. Follow us on iTunes, I guess.
Follow us on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
I don't know.
Share this podcast with a friend if you enjoy it, or if you feel bad for us being sick. And last of all, our intro and outro music is Cheap Shot by Anamanaguchi, an excellent song from an excellent band for an excellent game. I've been one of your hosts, AJ Hart.
And I have been your other host, Blake Rhea.
This has been Spiritual Successor, and these are cool games
that should not be made.